Hi, gorgeous lights. Welcome to a new day. Welcome to the Spirit Whispers Wisdom. I just realised it's a tongue twister. And the word for the day is fearful. Now, I was talking to Spirit about this in the night because, we can have a lot of fears and our brains can be geared towards fight or flight, survival mode, all of those sorts of things. But we can have these deeply ingrained fears that we actually end up reinforcing on a daily basis. And how we do that is by kind of confirming to ourselves that we knew that would happen. And so if we create inner reality is creating our outer reality, if you're always reinforcing, I knew that would happen, I knew a negative would happen, then your brain is like an algorithm. You've basically got a walking Google in your head. And so it's actually always then searching for that familiar algorithm that says, I always know that something negative is going to happen. Now, the mindfulness that Spirit started talking about when I started doing these words of the day was paying attention to where your energy goes, your focus goes, is what you actually end up seeing and receiving and sitting in and all of those sorts of things. And we don't actually consciously think about this an awful lot. So in order to bring the non-conscious conscious, it takes time for you to actually sit and acknowledge, actually I did feel like that, or that is my habit, or actually that is the way that I actually approach things, with an expectation that it's going to turn out exactly, detrimentally the way that I thought it was going to. And when we get what we thought, we reinforce it by going, I knew that would happen. There's no positivity in that. There's only sitting in a confirmation of negativity over and over again. Now, the brain operates on this amazing loop cycle where even if something is incredibly uncomfortable, because it's familiar, your brain will actually say, you've already dealt with this. This is, even though it was really, really bad, you've already dealt with it. So you know how to handle difficult situations or uncomfortable situations and being present with them. I'm not talking about dealing with them well, but by having that experience, it already knows that process. So we can habitually head towards going, well, inadvertently that's familiar, without actually realising it. And so mindfulness, when we talk about that, is having an awareness of the train of your thoughts, the energy of your thoughts, where it's going. And when we have fearful threads in our agenda, then there is this expectation that it is going to turn out to be, oh, this is my worst fear, oh, this has got to go this way as well. And the more we focus on it, on our inner reality, the more the likelihood there is of it turning up in our outer reality. And Spirit is very, very clear in our life path and our soul contract with ourselves. And you do have a soul contract with yourself for what you've come to experience down here. The opportunities that you present other souls to join you on your journey, to teach you on your journey. I have a tremendous gratitude in my life at the moment for all of the souls that I've found difficult on my own pathway. I'm incredibly grateful to them for everything that they have actually taught me about myself, and I actually have no resentment whatsoever around who they are as people. They're amazing people on a soul level, absolutely adore them, but it doesn't mean that you could get it sorted out in this lifetime. So what we can end up doing is, when you have an experience and it doesn't quite go the way that you thought it was going to go, then you can have a fear that experiences with other people or relationships with other people are going to go exactly the same way. Well, when you're sitting in that fearfulness and that expectation that will go the same way, you're in danger of that wonderful, amazing brain of yours creating a loop cycle of expectation, but also experiential learning that actually magnetizes towards you, because it's your focus of, people say to me, but I'm saying I don't want that. And I'm like, yep, you're saying you don't want that, but you're fearful that you will have that. The universe only hears an energy. It has an impartiality. It only follows what you send out from you. So if you're sending out an inner fear that you're going to have the same experience again, and opening your heart up to love again is going to get you hurt, then you're always going to sit in this fearful stage. And I think for me personally, there's a lot of personality types, there's a lot of traumas that people actually experience. And one of the painfulest things that I have witnessed, and I'm 55, been on the planet for a while, painful things that I've witnessed about human behaviour is where this fearfulness, expectation that things are going to go wrong or they're not going to turn out the way that you want, just holds people in this awful loop cycle to varying degrees. A little bit like it, might ping over there. I fear that I'm not going to get the job that I want, so they just end up and they stay in a job that they actually resent. They're fearful that they're going to let their family down, so they end up inadvertently letting their family down by being so afraid to take another step. And it is a lot of that when it goes into deep. It can be a trauma response to experiences that they've had growing up, or programming, or a lack of emotional support, or learning self-regulation as well. So there's a lot of things that's going on, and I'm not minimising the word fearful at all. However, you have to almost, this sounds really bizarre, but Spirit was talking about this morning, you have to kind of reparent yourself in the best ways possible, but you can only do that when you start to acknowledge what your actual habit and your behaviour is that's causing you to actually turn up in this way as well. And it takes mindfulness to stop and pause and go, actually, am I behaving in my own best interest, or am I letting a fear, be it subconscious or conscious, am I letting something make me scared of taking that first initial tiny step? And I can tell you immediately the only way that you can deal with being fearful is reassurance. Not external reassurance, but the reassurance, I've got this, it doesn't matter what's going on. I can nurture myself through this. I can look after myself through this. I can take this step towards understanding myself and what's triggering me to take a step forward to actually give yourself permission, or else you're running from your own self and your fears and being fearful of everything your entire life. And I've watched people do this, and I have... it kind of breaks my heart when I think these amazing, gorgeous, gorgeous people that want so much in their life, but their fears is causing a massive either procrastination or inertia or a loop cycle that just actually holds them at the same level of learning as well. So, it's an identification process. Like Spirit has said to me for years that if I look at something, that I need to acknowledge it first. Then I need to surrender to that knowledge. And that confused me for quite a long period of time, surrender to the knowledge. And they're like, yes, just accept it. Accept that you have a fear around this. Like, I'll use one of my fears. I have an amazing fear of the dark still. Only because during my formative years, 0 to 10 years old, that it accelerated into seeing spirit all the time and that sort of thing. I was only little, so I still have this moment where if I'm in complete dark, that I can feel that fear come in and be really, really fearful that there's something lurking in the dark, or there's something there, or there's something going to upset me, and I can feel the anxiety start to build. And if I let it, then, it can accelerate, and it can accelerate. The funny thing is, with this kind of fear, is there's a lot of people that actually feel like this about what is actually in the dark, what could actually be there. And underneath that, Lisa's just saying, underneath that is this fear of this loneliness, that alone you're the only person that can actually deal with whatever's in the dark. So there's a very isolated, abandoned, rejected, there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on underneath there, but you're not going to know it till you stop. So if I just was fearful and said, oh my gosh, I'm just scared of the dark, then yeah, basically I'm not examining, or I'm not being mindful about what's actually underneath that feeling, what's sitting at the bottom of that, what's causing that, and what do I need to do to self-nurture and self-regulate myself to allow myself to actually work through a fear. I'm not saying overcome a fear, I've still got it, but I work through it by reassurance. at start. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. There's nothing that you've experienced that you can't work through. Just take those reassurance steps. And that's literally, and I know that I've used that as an example, but you can apply it to everything. If you're going for, I don't know, driver's license, or you're going for something that's really important for you and you're actually just really anxious and fearful that it's not going to work out the way that you would like it to, then you've got to reparent yourself. You've got to stop and actually say, the universe is working for me all the time. I just need to give myself permission to say, I acknowledge that I've got the willies about this. And that's okay to have the willies about it. I'm not trying to fight it, avoid it, run away from it. And a lot of the understanding is that point to actually acknowledge it, okay? Surrender to that knowledge and then release it. It's okay to feel that way. This is not a permanent state, and I'm going to nurture myself through it. So there's lots and lots of opportunities for us to pause and actually bring in the mindfulness that says, if I am the universe in motion and my emotions are creating my well-being, my states, all those sorts of things, then I need to investigate the why, and I need to acknowledge what's actually going on, and I need to work to loving myself and my fears so I can take action steps towards what I truthfully want out of my life as well. All I want you to do today is just have a think about it. Just think about obstacles, or the type of obstacles get in your way, just by a way of thinking, and what you can actually do by seeing yourself as a person that needs to be loved and nurtured and looked after, that can actually help you forward with where you're actually going with baby steps, and congratulating yourself and nurturing yourself and self-regulating yourself, that can actually set you free. This all fits under mindfulness as well. Have a fantastic day, and I hope you think about where your fears cause you to stop having an amazing experience that you're supposed to have with wonder and joy, instead of resentment, frustration and expectation it's going to go pear-shaped. Think about it. Take care of you.